And this is where we are from Manchester. We have made our way to Leeds, and the ABSA red bus, the ABSA, a member of Barclays, is now parked outside of Leeds Town Hall. There you can see it on the right-hand side of your screen, the beautiful clock tower, and you can actually climb to the top of it if you go on a tour of the town hall. That's if you're willing to climb the 203 steps. It was built back in the 19th century, in 1858, and in its time it actually was an example of wasteful expenditure to some, but it is absolutely magnificent. And this is where we find our ABSA red bus this morning. A very good morning to you. Good to be in your company as we bring this Rugby World Cup update to you live from England. It's time now to get up to speed with what's happening in the Rugby World Cup before we look ahead to today's two fixtures. Jeff Parling says England are facing the game of their lives when they attempt to save their World Cup against Australia on Saturday. Our World Cup final has come a little earlier, he said, and it's a massive game against Australia. The England forward rejected Warren Gatland's suggestion that Wales wanted victory more in their 28-25 triumph last weekend, but accepts a more ruthless streak is required if the World Cup is to be rescued. Now, 10 weeks after breaking his right leg, New Zealand winger Waisake Naholo will make his second test appearance in a Rugby World Cup game. This one against Georgia tomorrow. The New Zealanders are seeking a third straight win in Pool C, which will qualify for them for the quarterfinals. Naholo went for some traditional healing in New Zealand, and he's back and, according to the coach, back to his best. Rugby World Cup organisers have opened up a new front in their battle to prevent tickets from being resold for huge profits, targeting hundreds of individuals and dozens of websites. Organisers have revealed that they have issued more than 600 letters to people selling their tickets on secondary ticketing sites. So they are hoping to stop the resale of tickets at really, really high prices, and something that they are trying to clamp down on. So welcome back aboard our ABSA red bus. It certainly is getting a lot of mileage. Just an update on the outgoing Springbok captain, Jean de Villiers. His surgery has been completed successfully. This is what Saru told us yesterday. They said they successfully completed the first step on his return to playing rugby when he underwent surgery to his broken jaw. And they said that he's now recuperating at home, and a decision on returning to England to support the Springbok team will be made in due course. Let's get the latest from the Springbok camp, because really all the news was around our brand new Springbok captain for that match against Scotland on Saturday. Our camp correspondent Simon Burke brings us up to speed.
Mayor looks like a man who's walking straight to the gallows as he announced his Springbok team to face Scotland in the Rugby World Cup at St James Park in Newcastle. He's made 3 changes to his starting 15. He's also got a new captain in Fourie du Preez, who becomes the 56th Springbok to captain the side.
Yeah, not easy to lose John and Victor, but I've got a lot of confidence in Fourie. I've coached him since he was 19 years old, and even back in the day, when he was 19 years old, I was astonished about his rugby knowledge, and always believed then he will be a rugby genius, and he's a rugby genius. He's respected worldwide because of his knowledge about the game. And if you look at the history of South Africa, wherever Fourie played, even when he left for Japan, if he played there, those teams always won. When Fourie played well, the team won, even against the British Lions. If you look at all the history. So he's a tactical genius.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's obviously a massive honour and privilege for me being asked to be captain. I had thought about it the last 4 years. 2012 was in a similar situation, and very happy that I can get the opportunity now. I'm also very happy that a guy like Scott and Dwayne are very good friends of mine, and I'm sure they'll back me.
And if we look at the 3 changes to the starting 15, Victor Matfield's out. He sustained a hamstring strain. Lut Diaga takes his place. Bismarck du Plessis is in for Adrian Strauss at hooker, and Jesse Creel comes in at outside centre, replacing the departing Springbok captain Jean de Villiers. I'm Simon Burke, bringing you the latest from the Springbok camp.
Oh, I absolutely cannot wait for that match. South Africa up against Scotland. St James's Park field will never ever be the same after that match. There you can see a magnificent war memorial which is just in front of our ABSA red bus. On the left hand side is the Henry Moore Institute, which you'll find out a little bit more because it takes pride of place here in Leeds city centre. This is where we're coming to you live from this morning. Let's take a look at what we can expect when it comes to Rugby World Cup action later on today. We've got 2 matches for you live on SABC2 starting from 5 o'clock this evening. Wales will go up against Fiji, and that's followed by France up against Canada. So those are the 2 matches that you can look forward to. 5 o'clock, sit in front of your TV, SABC2, that's where you'll be able to catch all of the action live. Throughout the day, though, you can keep up to speed with what's happening at the Rugby World Cup by just logging onto the SABC Sport website, www.sabcsport.co.za. The other match is France up against Canada, and you'll also be able to enjoy that match. Now, the Welsh team actually had former world champion, a man that retired undefeated, Joe Calzaghe, actually coming to visit the team following that victory over England, and their coach jokingly said, because they also had Tom Jones visit the camp, he said, well, whoever comes after Joe has a little bit of pressure on them. So so they do look forward to another victory over Fiji. They are second, however, in that pool of death in Pool A. Let's see what another famous former rugby player, former England international and British Irish Lions star John Bentley. He was a star in the 90s. We got the opportunity to catch up with him as we actually drove into Leeds, and let's hear what he's doing these days.
Oh, it's phenomenal. I mean, it was a special place for me to go, actually. We'd emigrated as a family back in 1970 when I was 4-year-old. We'd had 4 years there, and 97 was the first time I went back. I've had the fortune, obviously we were victorious, which makes a big difference to a tour. I've been fortunate, I've been on the last 3 Lions tours, 2005 to New Zealand, 2009 to South Africa, 2013 to Australia. Of the 3, South Africa's the best, by a long, long way. I loved it, the people are great, as long as you stand up to the South Africans. You know, you use the word arrogant, well, you know, arrogance is a huge strength. I like it, I admire it. But you've got to gain some respect as well, and I think we managed to do that. I loved it.
All right, that's John Bentley, a man that certainly is very well opinionated, and he was just a treat to pick his brains just for 10 minutes as we actually drove into Leeds. Now, he has some very strong views also on the Rugby World Cup and who he picks as his favourites.
Been fantastic, of course. There are 2 standout games. Japan, who beat you boys.
Oh, we're going to get there now.
Yeah, you will do. You will do, man. You're strong. I tipped you for the semis, and of course England, who, as a result of last Saturday's results, suddenly find themselves with a World Cup final 4 weeks earlier than anticipated.
No one has been really mentioning New Zealand in this tournament. They've just gone out quietly doing their thing.
Yeah, they're strong. I mean, if you sat at the beginning of the tournament, you'd turn around and say, look, they're going to win the tournament, they're the best team in the world, you know, but as been proven, I mean, you guys did it, 95, they won the first one, they won the last one, in between, they've been the best team in the world, in between the World Cups, with McCaw retiring this time, and probably it will be his last World Cup, they'll want to go out on a very high really, but, you know, being the top dogs, everyone wants to be them. France, you never know who's going to turn out. I mean, you look back to the last World Cup, they were actually the best team in the World Cup final, you know, but, you know, just like 1995, you might turn around and say, Sean Fitzpatrick will say, despite you guys poisoned them the night before. Yeah. They all went down with food poisoning mysteriously, but that's I just joke. You know, Mandela there, Francois Pienaar, a bit of destiny. Christchurch with the earthquakes 2011, again a bit of destiny. So, you know, there's no tragic this time, there's no tragic circumstances, but hopefully the best team wins.
Yeah.
I think the Aussies look good. They really look good. There are a couple of injuries this coming weekend, but they play the game how it should be played. 5 men behind the ball. They want to run with the ball as well. So, you know, look at them. Turmoil 12 months ago. They've turned up and they're going to compete in the World Cup.
I'm pinching her. We're doing a swap.
You got to pay Lobola.
I'm going to give you Christian. I'm giving you Christian. You take Christian from
John, you got to pay Lobola for her.
I've got her. See ya.
Well, I'm glad to say that I have my feet firmly on the ground, and the ABSA Red Bus, ABSA, a member of Barclays, won't let me leave without it. So I am well and truly connected to it, and what is now becoming the South African bus with all of these South African flags around it really does get a lot of attention. So I've made my way outside here, and as you can see, there's the Henry Moore Institute, and here is a war memorial, just paying tribute to all of those gentlemen from Leeds who lost their lives doing service for their country. We found out a little bit more about this area in specific, as well as some tourist attractions in Leeds yesterday. Take a look at what Jennifer Young had to say.
Leeds is a city built on industrial heritage. There's some amazing buildings. I would say definitely Kirkstall Abbey. It's a 12th century Cistercian abbey right by the River Aire in a beautiful park. So the art gallery is one of the free attractions in Leeds. Most of the attractions in Leeds are free. It's a unique collection of modern art, and next week the British Arts Show 8, which happens once every 5 years, normally opens in London, launches in Leeds. So an amazing collection, and art events will have fringe theatre across the city for a 3-month period, so a critical building towards Leeds. So the Henry Moore Institute has some unique touring exhibitions coming into the gallery. It's also a free attraction, and obviously comes from the Henry Moore heritage, a very famous sculpturist from Leeds. It forms part of the Yorkshire Sculpture Triangle, and going to the Yorkshire Sculpture Park is also one of the critical attractions in and around Leeds and Yorkshire.
Leeds are very proud of their sporting heritage, not only with the football team Leeds United, but also the place that cycling has now taken in the consciousness of the city. This was the venue for the Grand Depart in the 2014 Tour de France. So this place where they actually left from in 2014, a tour that was won eventually by Vincenzo Nibali. They actually left from here, and this is what you'll find just outside of the Henry Moore Institute and just beside the War Memorial. We found a little bit more about the Grand Depart and what it actually means to the Leeds city. When we chatted to Jennifer Young. We're going to leave you with this and what Mac Messina and myself found out. We will join you again for another live broadcast from Leeds tomorrow. Goodbye.
And you can take it, studio. Hold it, baby, hold it. You can take us, studio.
Wonderful. Thanks very, very much, Vaylen. We look forward to seeing where you are tomorrow and what you did today. You look like you're having far too much fun. That's fantastic. Enjoy yourself. It's a wonderful occasion. All right, so the time now is 7:30. Let's get your news headlines to you. Schools in Zebediela near Leboahoma in Limpopo will finally reopen next week after an 8-week disruption. Residents shut down the schools to demand a tarred road. Limpopo Premier Stan Matabata visited the village yesterday and promised that the tarring of the road would commence in April next year. The US and Russian military will hold talks as soon as possible to avoid clashing during military operations in Syria. The announcement came hours after Russia launched airstrikes in the country yesterday. The Kremlin says its airstrikes were directed at Islamic State targets. However, US officials say they are concerned that they appeared to have hit areas where ISIS forces were not present. The Palestinian flag is flying at the United Nations headquarters in New York for the very first time. The General Assembly decided last month that the non-member state observer states, which include Palestine and the Vatican, should be allowed to fly their flags at its headquarters. Those are your 7:30 news headlines. We'll bring you a full bulletin at 8 o'clock here on Morning Live. Today is the 1st of October. It is the beginning of Transport Month. Our focus is on transport this morning. That's where the broadcast is pretty much so coming from. And that's in Harrismith. It's at one of the truck stops there. And Ayanda is out there. She's chatting all things road safety. So stay tuned to find out more about that. Well, right now, let's find out what the weather holds in store for you on this day. It was quite, I tell you what, Tsetse, it was so refreshing. And I know that this is not general for the country because it's actually quite cold, particularly out in the Cape. But here in Joburg last night, the wind, the breeze, there was a little bit of rain. It was a bit refreshing. We've had a heat wave, one could say.
Yeah, exactly. It's really quite hot, and getting a little bit of rain and wind actually makes you feel a lot better, so much better. If only we were like here in KwaZulu-Natal as well as over the Eastern Cape province, where they're expecting up to 60% chance of rainfall today, high chance of rain moving all the way towards Mpumalanga as well as much of Swaziland, but not so much for us. We're expecting some isolated thunder showers. So let's hope something happens, yes, to relieve us from this really hot weather. So this is the situation for today, with a little bit of cloud cover towards Northern Cape province. If you're going to be along the Karoo, do expect the partly cloudy conditions. Winds at around 15 kilometers an hour, so nice and light winds are expected there. It's a bit of stronger winds for us since yesterday. I think tonight as well we might get some, so let's hope those come through and they bring, those are winds of change, bringing rainy conditions for us, as it's been dry and it's been really hot. Double digits are expected in the middle of the night in temperatures, so towards Kagiso as well as far towards the west in Carltonville and Kuton, temperatures are into the upper 20s. For your midday temperatures, or actually your daytime high, are expected to be into the upper 20s. Bela is at 33 degrees. Tabazimbi, if you remember, we were there not so long ago. It's at 34 for today. Lephalale, 35. Hot weather towards Messina, 36. Partly cloudy skies, possibility of showers from Mpumalanga. I tell you, they are quite lucky there. MLO, fine. Or weather is expected there with, possibilities of rain, so maybe not so fine. But there's a high chance of rain, temperatures into the lower 20s for places such as Emelo as well as over Wakkerstroom. KwaZulu-Natal, well, if you're going to be in Ladysmith, expect a maximum of 20 degrees. Fog patches